Hey folks, it's Babbaginator. We're back here in the long dark, currently hanging out in, I think we're in Ash Canyon still, right? Yeah, we're up in the gold mine, I believe. Okay, so where are we at with things? We picked up the backpack. Let's do a little bit of hiding up here. We are a little bit beaten up. We kind of rushed to get here. Yeah, it took some cold damage to get here. What can we afford to eat that will not kill us? Cattail. Okay, sounds a little bit better. I forgot to check. We've made all the arrows we can make. Okay. Well, I'm just kind of curious here. Have we taken enough shots? We've taken enough shots. Okay, so we'll at least qualify for the accuracy thing. See how bad it is out here.
Man, this pack is getting kind of
Yeah, it's terrible. Hmm.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Oh, we don't have charcoal. Should grab some charcoal. Draw a map. How many days have we been in Ash Canyon? Hey, Flightless Rain, welcome in, Raiders, and welcome in. Let's give you a shout out here. Are you also playing The Long Dark? Yes, you are. Do you have any clips? It's not a long
Yeah, I wish.
Oh,
I can beat up people though.
what was it called? Kind of
Example.
Crafty and detective.
So
I think that's the one, right?
so if it's in between these two, where is that? I'm so confused.
Can't remember what it's called. Anyways, you can tell me what it's called. Yeah, so welcome in. I'm The Sinking City. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It's a good game. Really good game. Yeah, so here's a little bit about me. I am a TLD streamer currently based in Vancouver, BC. I am a writer. I'm the author of 2 books of poetry. I'm also a former computer games programmer. And I'm returning to full-time creative writing coach and manuscript editor, at least for the next little while. Just finished up a library science degree, which is basically my 3rd terminal degree because I keep going back to school to do more university work. But anyways, yeah, so feel free to talk about, I don't know, The Long Dark, literature, the cultural history of artificial intelligence. You're going in for library science. Oh, very cool. Which program are you going to? I just did my MLIS at UBC, University of British Columbia. And so I just finished in August, and I will walk the stage later this month and get my diploma. So my area of focus has been kind of digital scholarship, digital humanities, data librarian type work. And that's partly because my undergraduate work was in computer science, and I worked for, like I said, a number of years as a computer games programmer. So the programming side is very comfortable to me. Even though I'm switching languages, it's still, I'm accustomed to doing that type of work. And then, but my heart's actually more in the humanities. So I would love to find a digital humanities type of role somewhere. Yeah. And then we're doing, I don't know if you're doing this challenge, but we're doing this tournament right now called Furry Then Silence, which is basically 50 days. I'm doing the Interloper division, and it's basically hunting. Like you have to find your tool, well, you have to find your hammer and your hacksaw and get yourself a bow, like forge and get yourself a bow and arrows. And then it's hunting, and it's all points. So we have 50 days, and we are coming up on the end of it. So our goal is to go hunt the Ash Canyon cougar next. That's one of our last tasks. So we got a plan. I discovered this last time I got out of the gold mine, is that if the cougar is up, you can actually just hug the side of on your way down, you can choose to hug the wall and stay completely outside of the cougar's reach. But I'm hoping I can stay perched up there and just shoot the cougar from above. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lightless. And thank you, Raiders, for coming in. Let's see here. What do I want? I want to take the charcoal, and then I want to take a new torch. So the problem is I forgot to check in advance to see if our cougar is up. And I don't know if we're long enough here for the cougar to check in already. We've only been here for 4 days, so I don't know. Cougar could be here already. I haven't heard him, though. Yeah, it would really mess with things. Here, we'll give you a follow, too. Yeah. So you're working on finishing your BA English Lit. Then you'll go to Iowa. Is that Idaho or Iowa? I think it must be Iowa University, right? Or Indiana University. Oh, too many I's, right? Academic or digital? Yeah. Too many I's, yeah. Yeah, so I did my... What did you study for English Lit? I did an MF, like after I worked as a computer games programmer for a few years in Los Angeles, I kind of jumped ship and went and did a MFA in creative writing. And then I did a PhD in literature and creative writing. And my dissertation was on 19th century artificial intelligence, or basically how did the machine become a person in the Victorian imagination. And so I write about Frankenstein, write about the Automaton Turk, I write about Sherlock Holmes, and I write about Charles Babbage. So yeah, if you want to check out more of my stuff, yeah, we get very nerdy on this channel. One of the things I always do at the end of the stream is I always read 1 or 2 poems at the end of the stream. And then some of the redeems, people can use their points to get me to read my poetry, other people's poetry, or for real diehards, sometimes to get me to read from my dissertation. Yeah, I was just saying that, and then Roller went went into that. Okay, oops. I guess we're reading from the dissertation. Okay, buckle up. Buckle up, folks. We are going into the dissertation. The last time we read from, I think, the first part of the dissertation, part of the introduction. Let's see if we can pick up. I did set that up, right? I didn't mean to imply that it had to happen, but okay, so let's see here. Okay, so recap for those of you who have not heard this dissertation before. The introduction, I kind of set up what exactly do I mean by artificial intelligence, and I kind of point out that, well, we associate a lot of our discussion of artificial intelligence with characters that show up in the 20th century. Ranging from Astro Boy to R2-D2 to Robbie the Robot to HAL 9000 or Alpha 60, or even Kit from Knight Rider, right? But it's actually much older than that. And you can say like the initial concept of an artificial or something that is created that has its own intelligence could arguably go back to like sort of like biblical accounts of like the creation of first man, like of Adam and Eve, or the Greeks have their own, versions with Hephaestus, the smithing god, crafting automatons, and the golem in sort of the Talmud. So we have like a lot of these early models of artificial intelligence. And then, okay. Then I'm going to pick up sort of basically where I left off. I'll give you the last, I think what we'll do is I'll read the last paragraph from the last time and then transition into the next section here. I rely on certain key terms throughout this dissertation. In my efforts to reconsider the history and genealogy of artificial intelligence, I've chosen to define artificial intelligence as any sentient being or object constructed from inanimate materials by a human creator. In this respect, the term will encompass more specific terms, such as thinking machine and mechanized mind. I will use the term machine-like thinker to describe those human characters who adopt a machine subjectivity and perspective, performing the idea of machine thinking while operating in a liminal space between human and machine. The Victorian detective figure, as represented by Poe's Dupin and Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, is an example of this type of human thinking machine. This dissertation employs a study of material culture, examining not only the primary text, but also the surrounding articles, reviews, journal entries, and other ephemera that speak to how these figures and ideas were being received by the general public. I also draw comparisons between texts, and note the ways in which earlier work and arguments inform later interactions with the idea of a thinking machine and the nature of the machine other subject. In constructing my arguments and establishing my claims related to the machine thinker figure in the 19th century, I have benefited greatly from the scholarly work of Pamela McCorduck, Don E. Lauza, and Min Soo Kang, each of whom writes about the broad history of thinking machines and automaton figures. Likewise, Doron Swade's detailed considerations of the history and significance of the difference engine, and Anthony Hyman's thorough examination of the life and work of Charles Babbage have both been extremely helpful in the chapter exploring the connection between Babbage's engines and the creation of Sherlock Holmes. In the first chapter, I argue that the key to the transformation from object to person was the appearance and performance of von Kempelen's automaton chess player. By close reading contemporary eyewitness accounts of the Turk, Duttons and Windage, I argue that the Turk challenged prevailing ideas of what constituted a machine by presenting a machine in the guise of a person. Not only did von Kempelen often offer the spectacle of a material machine that masqueraded as a human, which in fact was a human masquerading as machine, masquerading as a human, he did so while having it interact and respond meaningfully to changing situations and reflect a self-awareness that suggested something quite immaterial, some sort of mind or soul. Even as its machine nature was continually performed, the Turk was also consciously constructed as a person in its attire, in activity, in wit and reason, and in chess-playing prowess. Its person was further emphasized by the ways spectators and opponents described the Turk, pronouns and descriptions, in their accounts, as well as the narratives that the Turk presented about himself, being born, having a harem, possessing opinions and humor. Even after the physical embodiment of the Turk was destroyed in a fire, the literary and historical personhood of the Turk is cemented in the public consciousness with the 1857 publication of Silas Weir Mitchell's Obituary for the Turk. Finally, I examined the way in which the figure of the chess-playing automaton becomes a literary trope and a recurring character in late 19th century short stories, in particular operating as an ambiguous figure of possibly murderous inclination in Ambrose Bierce's story Moxon's Master, 1893. I close the chapter by pointing to the ways that even as an eventually exposed fake, the Turk enabled a public discourse around the possibility of a thinking machine, and the ways in which personhood might be extended to a certain type of machine, certain types of machine figures. I'll read the next paragraph just because it's about Frankenstein. Everyone loves the Frankenstein stuff. In the second chapter, I contend that if the Turk opened the door to the imagining of a machine person as a reality, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or a Modern Prometheus, 1818, created a space in fiction for a more complete exploration of what personhood for an artificially constructed non-human intelligence might be. I begin the chapter by addressing the problematics of including a seemingly organic creation in a discussion of machine others by unpacking the term automaton and tracing the ways in which contemporary definitions and usages of the terms machine, automaton, and artificial may have informed Mary Shelley's imagining of the creature and its description. Through thorough examination of the novel's multiple narratives, I argue not only does Shelley offer a range of human perspectives on the constructed other, she also provides the created being a voice of its own, imagines how the mind of such a being might develop into an intellect to rival a human's, and represents the emotional and moral consequences of its human creator's abandonment of parental duty. In giving us a sympathetic, if troubling, representation of the interior, emotional, and psychological reality of the constructed other, I suggest that Shelley offers a blueprint for future writers interested in similar explorations of agency, will, and rebellion in non-human mechanical, biological, and alien others. I further argue that even this representation of selfhood and personhood is an artificial construction, a conscious creation of narrative calculated by the machine to elicit empathy from those that hear it and to bridge or interrogate the gap between the non-human and the human. I close the chapter by noting the ways in which the 19th century public seemed unwilling or unprepared to accept this nuanced representation of the constructed other. To illustrate, I turn to the dramatic interpretations of her work, examining what happens to the creature in Richard Peake's 1823 staging of Presumption, or The Fate of Frankenstein, and in subsequent accounts of the performance. I know that Peake's recasting of the creature as a terrifying yet awkward being with barely animal levels of intellect reflects a public more willing to emphasize with human characters than with the creature. The chapter concludes by arguing that the silencing of the creature, both on stage and in reviews and later parodies, reflects a willful cultural amnesia or blindness to the emergence of a set of existential crises centered around the questions: what is a soul? What is thinking? Can life and intelligence be produced through modern science? Or is that the sole domain of a divine creator? Is there anything unique about the human being? Okay, so we'll stop there. So thanks for putting up with my dissertation reading. I had a conversation several years ago with someone who recommended that I rewrite my entire dissertation and for a popular audience and then pitch it out there for publication. And that person I was talking to was an MIT, like an editor for MIT Press. So I was like, oh, I should do that. And then I promptly did not do that. So now, even more than ever, I feel like it's a really timely topic. I wrote my dissertation, finished it in 2015. So I was a bit ahead of the curve on that. Okay. Why does it always have to get windy whenever we want to do something important? This is not right. We don't want to go down when it's dark because then we won't be able to hunt the cougar. But we also don't want to, like, because we're approaching day 50. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, if only there were more jobs for us, right? Sadly. Okay. Let's get some teas down. I think we'll probably just drop some water. That's how we'll get out of this. We're doing the, if you don't know about this, we're doing the tea jiggling thing where you drop it, pick it up and drop it again, and then when it hits max time, it just simply stops at hot and it doesn't burn up. So it's a job for really wealthy. Well, actually, you can just read. You just don't get paid very much for it. Or you read really crappy stuff. So, like, you get paid to be a reader for a press or a literary journal, but usually you don't get paid very much to do that type of work. And if it's a literary journal, pretty much you don't get paid at all. Yeah. Then most of the stuff that comes in that's submitted, like through the open slush pile, is going to be pretty mediocre to crappy, so you won't get to read really good stuff. You can sit on, if you're lucky, and I've had this opportunity several times, to sit on book juries or book prize juries, where you get to read published books, for a particular category like poetry. You get to read a lot of books, but you often don't have a lot of time, so you're then like plowing through like 72 books or 50 books, in a few months. So it's hard to really savor them. With your, well, I mean, it's true. I used to do a little bit of radio work, and I had a podcast at one point. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Did I create a? Can't remember if I created a thing for this. No, I didn't. Okay, so yeah, I ran a podcast. I hosted a podcast for a couple of years called The Lit Fantastic, where I'd interview authors about their weirdest obsession. And so the first season was a podcast, about 25 minutes per episode, and then the second season the community radio station asked if I would run it as a radio show, so we went to a 45-minute format, and that was a lot of fun, a lot of work. I was very grateful that I had a producer that took on all the editing work, because I don't love sound editing. Oh, that's kind of the hallmark of this channel. People come here partly to watch me play Interloper level challenges, but then also partly to get nerdy about different things. Like, we'll sometimes have these lengthy discussions around the ethics of AI, or literature around representations of artificial intelligence in film and literature, where we talk about really weird stuff related to fantasy. I'm also a D&D player and DM, so we also talk about role-playing games. Yeah, it gets pretty nerdy in here. Yeah, do hang out. Do hang out. Come back. We like nerdy people. Why does it have to be so gusty? Are we still really gusty right now? Yeah, it looks pretty gusty out there. I am worried we're going to get stuck out here, so I think we have to pick up and go.
Not sure I can carry much more.
Okay, we are going to drop our water. We'll see if this works. Oh yeah, like the Coca-Cola, like they decided to do a second year of using AI to produce their Christmas ads. So dumb. Like, why are you doing this? $1865, so kind of... Oh, literature out there. Oh, I wrote about... Yeah, later in the dissertation, there's a whole chapter in, like, really obscure speculative fiction from the period. Like, there's a totally wild one about the main character realizes that he's traveling on this cruise ship, and he discovers that this really, like, charismatic, intellectual, future leader of the world type person is actually got a mechanical brain, and he is so horrified when he like witnesses like a doctor tinkering with the brain and realizing that it's not a human brain but a mechanical brain, that he has to rip the guy's brain, like his mechanical brain, out and throw him into the ocean. I'm just like, what is up with you, man? That's like so crazy. Oh yeah, we got a cougar out there. We also got terrible... I was about to say we have terrible wind problems, but that's a different thing. It'd be horrible to lose his run. Where are you, Cougar man? Where are you, Cougar? Is that a wolf or a cougar? That's a regular old wolf. Where's our cougar at? We heard the cougar. Oh, that's not what we wanted to have happen. Where's the cougar at? That's a regular old... Where is our cougar at? Oh, there he is. I'm feeling less safe right now. Nope, that did not work. Yeah. That did not go well.
Oh no. Blood. All over. Blood.
Uh-oh, is he coming back? This was the plan, was I was supposed to get up here. We failed our cougar hunt. Question is, where is he now?
Too cold to think.
Yeah, I do not think we're going to survive. Need another stim. You can only use one stim at a time. Is he coming back for us?
I can lay down and have a little sleep right here.
Okay. We might be trapped here. So this was the plan. I was going to do this. Come on, Cougar. Yeah, we chased him away. Well, we tried. Do I have a backup birch tea? I think... No, we don't. We got to get back to shelter. It'd be a shame to lose this run right on the end. Because we underestimated our ability to get to shelter. Like, I don't feel it's safe enough to stop and warm up our teas right here. But we can grab our extra. This is the worst part of it, though, is having to navigate in the flickery light. Yeah, well, that's my first ever cougar encounter. I've always been extremely good at avoiding them. And the last time I was in Ash Canyon, we did exactly that strategy. I just chose not to engage the cougar last time. This time I stopped, thinking that I was in a safe spot. I was not. I should have moved on further. Like, you saw how high up on the wall I could get. Like, any of those other spots would have been a good place to hunt from, but I couldn't make it work. So, but getting a run in for the tournament is something, so we'll just accept that. it does kind of suck though that we, like, how bad is it clothing wise? How bad are we? Oops, clothing wise, how bad are we? It could have been a lot worse. We got off pretty well. Lost a couple arrows in that encounter, but not the end of the world. I don't know. I thought there would be a way to hunt the cougar there, but I'm like less certain now. We definitely can't really duplicate that attack because we'd have to come down to the gold mine again. Yeah, now the cougar is... Oh, we got infection risk stuff happening now. We got a different problem, which is that I don't think we have enough. We need more moss. How much do we have here? We need one more. I think he's hunting us. Okay, we got our last one. Okay, okay. Luckily we left water for ourselves here. Okay, we can do this. Don't die, Astrid, don't die. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Blood loss until you are healed. Well, that kind of sucks. So does that mean we can spontaneously, like, start, we just do 2? Greater risk of infection and blood loss. Does it mean that we can start? It makes me nervous. How long can we sleep for? 64 hours. 64 hours, so that's going to be a little bit less than 3 days. So that's basically the rest of our run, right? That sucks. uh, ah! Okay, that sucked. Ah! We're right on the finish line. If we had chosen not to deal with the cougar, we would have been fine. Okay, that hurts. That hurts. Yeah, we did not make it through the night. We almost made it through the night. Okay, so things I have learned from this encounter. When battling the cougar, lots of extra cloth, lots of extra old man's beard, and lots of birch bark tea. Yeah. I've never had a successful cougar hunt, and that record stands. So, yeah. I get it. Um, how do we do this? So, we want to start a new run, but I think that means I'm going to have to actually, in order for it to work better for the VOD, I think I actually have to stop the stream and start a new stream, just so that I have a distinct start, and I have to reset all my stats. So we could either do that, or we do something. Let's see. We do something fun for tonight, and then next stream we start over. We were doing so well. Yeah, actually, we could do Balatro. We could do. Has anyone played Slots and Daggers? We could do Slots and Daggers instead. Hold on a second. Let me do. They're both fun. Okay, Slots and Daggers is a little bit easier, but yeah. Let's see here. Let me think about this. If we
Sora 2 is now on Artlist. You now have the most advanced AI video model on the market at your fingertips. Get incredible realism with fully integrated sound.
You keep the frame, I keep the story.
Build your own world with multi-shot stories and character consistency for any genre, all based on your prompt. So go to Artlist and start creating without limits.
Oh yeah, let's try that again. Good? Hello? Hello? Okay, that's working. Now we're good. So much for pro moves, right? Okay, we don't need, let's see, we don't need that. We need just the game to play. Let's see, wait a sec. Are we hearing the game? Let's see. It's still promos. This is not playing the... Let's see if that's working. Are we getting anything? How come we're not getting the desktop? Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. We got everything working again. Yay! Okay, so it's just saying, basically this game involves, like, playing, you have to put down, must play 5 cards. So this one we have to always put down 5 cards. It's kind of crappy, but we'll make this work. So I think our best move then is just to go for the maximum number that we can. And we'll dump the lowest card here. We're on round 9, so we're actually close to being done here. We're so close here. I think at this point, well, actually, what do we have here? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Play it straight. I'm going to predict we're going to fail out of this one soon, so I'm not going to get too attached. Check. No luck. Okay, so we just got... We need to get to 4,000 points. We're not getting there. We have 1 hand left. So this is going to fail out here in a second. Okay, anyways, that's fine. We get to start a new run. This will, like, show you how it gets started. So, basically you have to go through each round. We have to score at least a certain amount, and this amount keeps going up and up and up and up. And so right now we just have a basic deck. The only other thing we need to know is that... you know, this deck is got no face cards. So that's the unique quality about this deck, is there's no face cards. But what we do have is full house. And when you see when it flames like that, it means that you have exceeded on your, like on that one hand, it's already exceeded the points. So. And then you get bonus cash for like remaining hands. So if you did it quickly, you get extra. cash out. We're at 10. These anti-vouchers can sometimes offer really good deals. Jokers are useful because they basically improve your chance of getting a good multiplier. So I'm going to go... This is tempting. But I think having... Well, let's start with this one, actually. So these are the Joker packs. Each king in hand. So if it's held in hand, so it means not in play, but in your hand, gives a 1.5 multiplier. It's actually kind of crappy. This is 12 multiplier if it's a straight. This is worth more, so we can always sell that later. And we'll just buy this one. This is a glitch, so it randomly gives us a multiplier. And then we'll just go from there. Okay. It's not bad. Nah, looks like this is still going to be our best hand. So what I'm really leaning towards is selling this one, buying this, and then we'll try our luck in the future and just hope we have better luck in the future. These ones with the planets have different effects on like the types of hands that you might play. So generally speaking, pairs show up more often, but you really want to have like the two, pairs, three of a kind, straights, flushes. Those are the ones you want. So this one's 600. So we're almost all our way to... Oh, this is so tempting. We could play for the full house. Or we could risk the 4 and see if we get a spade, but I think we'll go with the safe move here and hope that this is a high multiplier. It's not. This is not good gambling, but but it's enough. Okay. So yeah, each of the tarot cards has a different effect. This one allows us to basically duplicate the last card that we used, last planet card. Anyways, let's see if we can get this going. It's been a few months since I last played this, I'll admit, so my strategy is not as good as it used to be, but we will. Well, that'll work. Okay. This one ends up being really useful later on once you have more valuable jokers. Anyways, we'll play through until this one fails, and then I think what we'll do is we'll switch over to... I think the Slots and Daggers is actually more fun right now for me. It's almost there. Nice flush. It's a little slow getting started, and then as you add more jokers and more like interesting cards to the mix, then it becomes like okay, so this one has a 1 in 6 chance of being destroyed, but it adds a 15 multiplier and 50 chips. There's like a higher version of this that's like the foil effect is what adds the 50 chips. But anyways, it's a good card. For this stage, it's a good card. Do we think we'll get a heart if we discard the 7? We do. Look at that. That was a good gamble. Oh, this can be fun if you have the right other set of jokers to make this work. Yeah, I don't know if this is worth it. We don't have anything that benefits from face cards right now. So we're going to go with, we'll take a Celestial. And we're going to, I think we're going to work on two pairs, like one of the most common hands that you get. So that and straights. I don't know what this is trying to be. This is almost straight. This is we have so many things that are almost here. But to be honest, this is the, even though this is almost a hand, it's not worth much. So we're gonna check it for our luck. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll go. Yeah, it was so close, right? We're so close to the full house, so close to a lot of stuff. It just didn't work out. But we got lucky with the multiplier, and so that's fine. We still made it. Got our 2,000. Right now, this is all pretty easy. At the higher levels, it's really hard because the amount you have to get gets really high. Okay, we're going to go with might as well try one of these. This would be more useful for a higher value card. And then this one, it's like only useful if you discard it, which you don't ever want to discard your, well, you rarely do. So, I don't know. Crappy options. Well, we'll take the straight, I guess. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, we need to get more money, right? Okay, no discards on this run. What's our best move here? 2 pair. We're just dumping the 3 right now. And we're good. All right. Why get this one? It increases in value every single round. Every time you complete a round, it goes up in value. That coupled with this guy adds the value of the sell value of all other jokers to its multiplier. Means that this keeps going up, then this keeps going up every turn. Every round. That's pretty cool. It's not much, but yeah. See if we can buy something else. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think Balatro is interesting because it becomes increasingly complicated and the no playthrough is exactly the same. Yeah, but it also can feel a little repetitive after a while. So they keep adding more like jokers to make it more interesting. Kind of what we're waiting for right now is for a either a good joker to show up or something else we can do to raise our abilities. Right now, all our diamonds are useless, so we have to throw them out. Ugh. Not good. Okay. So much waste here. I'm just going to throw out these ones. Only get a pair, but... We only had a pair, but we almost hit our mark. It's pretty funny. Okay, we're going to sell this guy, and we'll use this guy. And we can choose one more if we want to, but I don't see anything that we want. So. Wow, we got 4 of a kind here. parts are worth 1.5. Okay. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, and we finally lost that card. Failed, so we have an opening. We can take another Joker. It's cheap, but gets us more cash next time, so. Well, full house. See, this would be good if we actually had face cards in the deck. But remember, there was that card, that the Joker, that would have turned everything into a face card. So yeah, that would have been more useful. Right now, it's not really useful. The 50 chips, that's useful, but. Well, I guess this would be useful. Need a better foil card. See, this would have killed us if we had taken the everything as a face card, because nothing would have been worth anything. guess we'll go with the 2 pair for now. Full house. Well, we barely made it. Almost a straight. Okay, that was a good gamble. I don't know, I really don't like any of these. Guess we try our luck. We're close enough that we might be able to get there. Yep. It was a really sad pair, but it was enough. It's gonna get harder. 10, 9, 8, 7. There's no 6. We gambled and we got it wrong. Take advantage of the wild card. We could use one more club. Okay. Yeah. Failed. Oh well. Yeah, we're not going to make it. Anyways, that's how Balatro plays. Different decks have different constraints. So like if we were to try to do a different deck, let's say Ghost deck is like, well, let's see. Yeah. So you can kind of see they have different characteristics. Like red deck is extra discard. Blue deck is one extra hand size. Yellow deck you start with extra cash. This one has you earn more, but there's no interest. Interest is if you're holding cash in hand at the end of the round and it's more than 10, you start earning money off of that. But anyways, all of these that have a little stamp on it means I've beaten that deck. So I haven't beaten the abandoned deck yet. This is a new deck I haven't played yet, checkered. And there's more, so. So. Oh. Does that sometimes. Anyways, we'll do a quick playthrough of whatchamacallit. Slots and Daggers. See if I can find it here. Well, how come you can't see it? That's weird. Very strange. It won't. Okay, that is weird. It's not showing up. Well, the other way. Very strange. Try to capture it as a window capture instead. Yeah, that works. I'll just show you slots and daggers. So let's see. Does that work? Yeah, audio is coming through. Yeah, so we're currently in the middle of a run. Oops, missed it. Let's see. Probably should. No, we'd have no money for that. Oh, is it? It's weird. It doesn't. Why doesn't it want to capture? Okay, we'll try a different solution here. One last try. We'll do the screen capture and display capture instead. There we go. Okay, we got it working. We're out of cash. So over here, this shows you the upcoming attack coming from the monster you're fighting. So this one is going to hit me 3 times for 150 points each. But I have 160 shield right now and 775 hit points. I think I'll be fine. It's 450. I'll weather that. And then if I add in my extra shields, I should be fine. Oops. Whoa, look at that. We'll run it a second time. Oops, that was way off. So I like the crossbow because usually it's pretty predictable as to where it's going to go. Oops, that's way off. So apparently the plot caps out at 100 and you can't earn more money than that. Although occasionally I have. I'm not exactly certain what allows me to go over. Oops. Chuck the gun. It's pretty. Yes, we're currently playing in the arena because I've already beaten the main game, and the arena just keeps adding more and more bosses that are tougher and tougher. Oops. Oops, that was a waste. We're so close. Yay. Okay, and then after you beat the boss, you get to level up stuff. So when you begin, all you have are like 3 tiles. Or 3 things. And then you can choose to buy things or upgrade things. The upgrades do add up in cost. It's always worth upgrading your health. Because late in the game, there's some pretty crazy. Okay. Let's see what else is out there. So most of the damage we're dishing out is physical damage. But we do have some boosts for magical damage. And the problem is we don't really have a whole lot of things that dish magical damage, just these 2. Oh well. Oops. Oops. See, now we're over 100. That rarely happens, but it can happen. Oops. In the main campaign, you go through different regions. Each of the regions has a different theme. So, like, there's swamp and sewers and things like that. And so the monsters are reflective of that. But in the arena, it's just all egg-themed things. So sadly, we did not get enough healing, so we might be taken out here. Ooh, we're dying, but wait. We paid for a cheat so we could come back once. Yeah, we got killed. That was a lot. Got a big payout. We got a whole bunch of money, and we've got nothing to spend it on anymore. We maxed out everything. I don't know what we're supposed to do with all our extra. Then we maxed. I think they need to give us more modifiers, so. Or something else to spend this on. But if we were to do a new game, you kind of go through like this map. You begin with the Plains of Pain, Black Cemetery, Purr Swamp, Red Desert, and then Cathedral of Smoke, the Citadel, the Petrified Forest, and the Ministry, and then finally the final floor. So anyways, each of these has, I think, 8 to 10 bosses, or maybe it's 6 to 8 bosses. So you have to fight like, yeah, so, and they definitely, the last ones in each one are really, can be tough. And you start off pretty weak. I mean, I'm kind of maxed out because I've beaten the game, so I've already spent all my points to pay for the additional like modifiers, which give you advantages. They're kind of like the perks in the Long Dark or the feats. But there's no cap. So yeah, they're all operational, which is kind of broken, but yeah, I guess that's the benefit. But it makes playing the arena more interesting because the bosses in the arena can really get ridiculously powerful. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. We will, let's see, let's read something. Yeah, so let's read something then for tonight and wrap up. I just rolled dice. Look at me rolling dice in the background. Okay, so we're gonna read something for our final poem for tonight. Those who are still around. What's our poem for tonight? Well, we talked about, maybe since we mentioned the dissertation, we should do something from Babbage's Dream. Let us do... Okay. Let's do, I think, Include from Babbage's Dream. So Babbage's Dream, my second book of poetry, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. And we'll do Include. A directive to the compiler to insert the contents of an external file or code library at this location. Call and will appear, a strange assembly of characters gathered in the library space like ghosts or around a makeshift table formed of a door, a sawhorse, and two filing cabinets laying prone on the floor. Each of us in a class of our own, our names and histories kept to ourselves, as if to preserve a little corner away from the stern gaze of those who plod the aisles, worrying their ways back to distant desks and offices with views of the city we scarcely know. Our lives spent instead engaged in the work of the mind, the transcribing of one logic into another. We are refugees of sorts, castaways who wash up unexpectedly on the same shore. Our new world nothing more than the cobbling together of the remains of others, warehouses filled with empty bookcases, stained whiteboards, vending machines, the dull hum of the air conditioning fans whirring their lullabies overhead. All around us, empty bookcases, stained whiteboards, vending machine, all around us, cast-off machines, broken keyboards and mice, a cornucopia of wires and the low swinging bulbs that in the dark seem to form a constellation of tiny nameless stars. How they hang there above our heads, faltering, holding on, everything waiting for some final revelation to make itself useful, to give itself a place to go after the power goes out, after there's nothing left to burn within. In the halls, marshaled in a gallery of the disconnected and unstable, every heart that we pass is as inextinguishable and unknowable as our own. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I think it's because we switched to a different setup. Why is it still there? Oh, okay. Not certain why it was there. But yeah, anyway, so that was included. So yeah, that was inspired by my time as a computer games programmer. The first like space we worked out of was a warehouse. And so it literally was just like all our tables were just like doors on top of filing cabinets, and then bookcases to form like our separated areas, and it was really makeshift. And then we moved off to this big, we were bought out and moved into this big building that overlooked the airport. And it was kind of a very different space. But before we got to the new space, the fancy space, the first space was basically, yeah, you'd walk through the hallways and there'd be all these boxes and stacks of old machines and cast off, computer mice and computer peripherals, and everything was just kind of like, I don't know, it felt like everything was a refugee there, including us. And so that kind of always reminded me of like how our environment almost felt like a reflection of our own inner lives there. Okay, so we'll wrap up here. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry we had like a last minute disaster with that cougar attack that did not work as intended. But we will find our way home in the next one. We will start over again. Let's find ourselves someone to raid. What? There's no one on right now. Wow. It's so dead tonight. Is it because of the American election? Okay, who are we following that's on right now? Oh, it's super quiet right now. Where are all our people? What's AV up to then? Okay, acidic virus is up doing something. What's he playing? Oh, he's playing the Prologue Go Way Back. Okay. Yeah, we'll give that a try. Go support AV. Okay, we'll do that. It's close. And then I can report back that I totally flubbed the ending of my tournament run. It's so sad. Okay, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back. I might do a stream tomorrow because I feel bad about messing up this one. So